No, sir.
None of the no, you haven't given even one test in the school.
Yes, sir, because I'm in vacation.
I'm not asking about right now. So far, I'm asking so far.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you would have given in the past 5 or 6 months. Huh. So that's what I'm asking. Which chapters was the what was the portion of the test? Do you let me know the portion of the test? On that basis, we can continue the class.
Sir,
Hmm.
for me, it was acid, bases, and salt.
Acid, bases, and salts. Okay.
Um, Nutrition in animals.
Nutrition in animals. Okay. I'm listening. Go on. And
Preservative.
okay. Priyanka, what about you?
Sir, acid, base, and salts,
Hmm.
nutrition in plants,
Nutrition in plants,
physical and chemical.
physical and chemical changes.
That's
That's only. So these chapters came in PT1 or PT2. Which exam these chapters came?
sir.
Me, and its effect.
Just 1 minute, Abu Bakr. Yes, Priyanka.
Sir, like has a test, it has came.
Okay, there was a test in the school in which it came. Okay. Yes, Abu.
Yes,
Sir, heat and its effects.
Heat and its effects. Okay. Any other chapters?
No, sir.
sir. Even same, sir. Heat also.
Okay, so for you also, heat was also there. Okay, okay. Heat and its effect. In fact, all these chapters have been completed in the batch. Right now, we
Yes,
have
sir.
done all these chapters. Okay. So, guys, we are going to continue with the chapter. The chapter number 7. That chapter we are going to continue. Okay, now the weather, climate, and adaptation of animals to their climate. Okay, now. So we'll be doing that chapter. But before that, you guys do let me know if there happens to be any particular topic, any particular chapter which you guys would like to revisit. Do let me know.
Sir,
Yes.
you didn't send any notes.
I shared the notes of the first few chapters, like 3 or 4 chapters that was sent. Did you guys not receive it?
Sir, I only got nutrition in animal
No,
and
till
heat.
and heat only. No, till the like the first 3 or 4 chapters. I think till heat it was shared. Nutritional plants, nutritional animals, and heat. Till that it was shared. I think. Okay, I will talk to the team regarding this. Okay, now I will talk to them regarding this. Okay. Yes, Abu, any particular topic, and Priyanka, you also let me know if there's any particular topic which you guys would like to revisit. Okay, in which you had some difficulty understanding. We can either revisit that topic or we can continue with the next chapter. Yes. And all of you, in the beginning of in the beginning of the class, when the new session begins in the school, so you must have got you must have got the syllabus, which chapters are going to be there in your school, in your upcoming exam. I mean to say, like some chapters might have been cancelled. So just both of you confirm this, like the chapter weather, climate, and adaptation of animals to climate. Is it there in your syllabus? Has the teacher told you this chapter will be taught or not? Any update
Sir,
on
I
that?
don't know.
Okay, not aware of that. Abu Bakr, what about you? Hmm. Okay, not aware of that. Okay, anyways, so let's begin the chapter anyways. Okay, now. Yeah, give me a moment. I will be sharing my screen in a moment. Okay. Before that, I will be asking some questions to you while I'm sharing my screen. Okay, now. So, Abu Bakr, you tell me that what happens in respiration. Okay, you will be explaining about what happens in respiration, and Priyanka, you will be telling me about what happens in neutralization reaction. These are some random questions from random chapters I'm asking. Okay, so your questions have been given. Answer it, and both of you turn your cameras on in the class.
Sir,
So
can
that
you hear me?
respiration, uh,
Hmm.
sir, you breathe.
Can you hear me?
Respiration is breathing.
Priyanka, hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Yes, you are audible, by the way. Yes, Abu Bakr, continue.
So respiration is breathing.
Just breathing or something more than that? Was it just breathing or more than that? It's not just breathing. Then what is breathing? If respiration is breathing, then what is breathing? Yes, Abu. If respiration is breathing, then what is breathing? Isn't that an obvious question?
Sir, breathing is taking in oxygen.
So its breathing is taking in oxygen and releasing the carbon
Releasing.
dioxide. Huh. But so respiration should be different from it. Now. If respiration is same as breathing, then why we have two different names? Hmm? Respiration is actually the breakdown of the food. Breakdown of the food using the oxygen that we take in via during inhalation of the air, during breathing. Okay, now? So respiration is mainly the breakdown of the food in the presence of oxygen to obtain energy from it to carry out various functions. Getting it? That is what it is now. Okay, that is what respiration is. Now moving on to your question, Priyanka, you answer. Priyanka isn't in the class now. There are two kind of respiration. Yes, Abu Bakr. There are two kind of respiration. What are they?
The respiration, uh, breathing to break down food and
Mm-hmm.
to break down food and breathe for oxygen.
My question is, there are two types of respiration. Respiration दो types के होते हैं. There are two types of respiration. What are they? One that will take place in the presence of air, more specifically oxygen, that is called as aerobic respiration now. And the one that will take place in the absence of oxygen, that is called as anaerobic respiration. That is what we have discussed in the class. Yes. Okay. So there are two types of respiration, whether it is happening in on the basis of the availability of oxygen. If oxygen is not available, if air is not available, then anaerobic respiration takes place in certain organisms. Can you tell me in which organism anaerobic respiration will take place? Yes, Abu Bakr. Can you tell me in which organisms anaerobic respiration will be taking place? That's the question. Priyanka, are you still facing some network issue?
So stomach,
In the stomach, what kind of respiration is going to take place?
non-aero,
No, put it properly. Non-aerobic or like aerobic, anaerobic. What do you exactly mean to say?
non-aerobic.
There's nothing like non-aerobic. It's anaerobic.
Yeah,
Okay, Abu Bakr.
anaerobic.
But why it will be taking place in the stomach? In the cells of the stomach, anaerobic respiration does not take place. Whenever you are like when you participate in some gymnastic activity, like for example a marathon, uh, in marathon or whenever we are doing some intense workout, so in that case our muscles would be doing anaerobic respiration. Our muscles would be doing anaerobic respiration. Okay, now. Okay, Priyanka, getting back to your question. You were also assigned one question. You had to tell me about neutralization reaction. Yes, guys, quickly answer these questions and then we are going to continue. Yes. Okay, Abu, you can answer it then. What is a neutralization reaction?
A neutralization reaction is uh, when two substances get mixed together and form uh, salt and water.
What are those two substances that gets mixed together?
Acid and base.
Acid and base, no? Okay. So that is what neutralization reaction is. Very good. Can you give some example of neutralization reaction from everyday life?
Uh, if you get an ant sting, you put baking soda on it uh, to
Get relief.
neutralize it.
Good.
And then if you like if you get acidity, like then
Then we take some antacids.
you take some antacid to neutralize.
Like one of the most common example is milk of magnesia. Magnesium hydroxide is an antacid that we consume when we suffer from acidity. Okay. All right, now. Okay, Priyanka, this one question for you also. Do tell me, in the chapter heat, we have had learned about various mode of transfer of heat. So what are the three modes of transfer of heat, Priyanka? Yes, Priyanka, what are the three different modes of transfer of heat? Priyanka, there seems to be a network issue from your side. I think. Yes, Priyanka, am I audible to you?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
Sir,
Yeah, now you're audible.
Condensation.
Condensation? Not
Yes.
How can condensation be? Condensation is a different thing. When water vapor be converting into drops of water, that is called as condensation. When water converts from the gases state back into the liquid state, that is called as condensation now. That's a completely different thing, Priyanka.
Yes, sir.
So it starts from C, that is conduction. Actually, you're trying to say conduction actually. Okay. Okay. Abu Bakr will answer, conduction will take place in which medium? In the solid, in the liquid, or in the gaseous medium? In which objects it will be taking place?
Gas.
Conduction, not convection. It's conduction. Conduction.
Sir, is it heat?
Liquid. Yeah, liquid.
I'm asking about an object now, guys. It's solid material in which conduction takes place. I think you guys now need to revise lots of things.
Sir, solid.
Solid objects now. Like I give the example, like you have a candle flame and you put an iron rod over the candle flame. Minutes later, you will see that the other end which you were touching becomes very hot. Why? Because due to conduction, heat passed from the one end to the other end of the given material. And the given material is solid. So the transfer of heat from one end to the other end of the solid material takes place via conduction. That's what I'm asking now. Okay, you answered conduction. What were other two modes?
Sir, conversion.
Convection. Yeah. Convection and
Radiation.
Radiation, good. Convection will take place in convection. It will be taking place in which medium?
In gas.
And in liquid.
Heat.
Both
Okay.
both in the gas and liquid. Okay, why you answering repeatedly heat? Okay, we have one of the medium which does one of the mode of transfer of heat does not require any medium for transfer. You guys know there was one mode of the transfer of heat that does not require any medium. Even if the medium is absent, the heat will transfer, heat will flow via that method. What is it? Does it start from R?
Sir,
Hmm?
can you repeat the question?
The question is now, Abu, you understood the question? Abu Bakr? See the
No, sir.
question. Okay, I'm repeating the question. See, conduction requires a medium. Like conduction will take place in solid medium. Convection also requires a medium. Convection will take place in the liquid and in the gaseous medium. Right now, conduction and convection, it cannot take place in vacuum. In vacuum, there's an absence of medium. There isn't any medium in vacuum now. In the outer space, there isn't any medium. But talking about radiation, what we learned that the heat from the sun's manages to come on Earth not via conduction or convection, but via a method called as radiation, but via a mode of transfer of heat called as radiation. So the transfer of heat can take place via radiation in vacuum. Even if there isn't any medium, even without medium, the heat can flow via radiation. Getting at what I'm trying to say? You guys understood this now? Yes,
Sir.
Abu. What did you understood from what I have just explained? What did you understood? Explain it to me.
The radiation.
How radiation, not just one word answer. Explain the whole thing.
No, sir. The answer radiation.
Yeah, obviously the answer is radiation. Okay, no. But as I explained that, like how does heat travel in the case of radiation? There, what we learned that even if
Yeah.
there isn't any medium,
Yeah. So radiation, like for example, like the molecules, like they vibrate and then they hit each other and make the whole thing hot. Like for example, uh, if if we take a rod and then like burn it in one end, and then like after some time the other end will also get hot. That is called radiation.
that isn't correct. That is called as conduction. That actually is called as conduction now. That is called as conduction. See, let us revisit that chapter. See, I think it is important that we revisit this concept. Okay. So you guys, first of all, have a look at this image over here. What do we observe here? There's a solid object. There's a solid metal that is placed over the burning candle. After some time, what happens? The other end also becomes warm. And we learned this example in the case of conduction now. We learned about this in the case of conduction, where we learned that the transfer of heat from hotter part of hot from one hotter part to other colder part takes place when the particles or the molecules would be colliding with each other, and thereby it will be passing the heat to other end. That was called as conduction, which only takes place in the solid substances now, right? Or when two solid substances will be in contact with each other, or when two solid objects are in contact with each other, or it will take place within a solid object. That's what we learned, isn't it? Right, Priyanka and Worker? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. There seems to be issue with the other device I have connected from. So this is something which we learned now.
Sir, your
The,
camera is paused.
yeah, now it would be on. Am I visible now, by the way? No, I
Sir,
should be. Mhm. Yeah. So that was the case of conduction and not radiation. So it is, guys, now what I have observed, like it is very important that you guys keep on revising. Once a chapter is done, don't get so comfortable. Just keep on revising that chapter again and again. Okay. Suppose if I were to take a surprise test from this chapter heat, so how you guys would have performed, I don't know. Hmm? So it is important to keep on revising every chapter. Okay. Then we did learn about some applications of conductions also. Okay, now then talking about convection, we learned about the case of land breeze and sea breeze. Now, in the case of convection, what we learned, when the transfer of heat will take place by the movement of the particles from one place to another. Like Priyanka, in the case of the conduction, what was happening? Is it that the particles moved from one into another? Is it that the hotter particles just got up from one side and moved all the way to the other end? Getting what I'm trying to say? Like, was it? Is it? Did we observe like some was something like this is happening? Was something like this was happening? Like, okay, that all the particles from this end, all of them went to the other side. No, they
No,
stayed at
sir.
no, they stayed at the same place, but all of them will be colliding with each other. They will be colliding with one another. That's how heat was transferred from one into the other. So the particles are not changing their place, they are just vibrating. They are just vibrating at one place. But in the case of convection, what do we observe? In the case of convection, 1 minute. In the case of convection, what you observe, that the particles were moving from one place to another. Particles were moving. Like, have a look at this animation. Here you can see that the particles are moving from one place to another. Like the water molecules that are close to the bottom of the beaker and that are in the bottom of this glass beaker, so they will be more heated. So they moved to other part of the liquid. Right now, they move to the other part of the liquid. So due to the movement of the particles of this liquid, the complete liquid becomes warm. Right now, so in convection, the movement of particles will be taking place. That's how heat will be transferred. And convection not only takes place in liquid, but it also takes place in the case of gases also. Like, have a look at this video over here. What do we observe in this case? Like, the during the daytime, what happens? The air above the land is more warmer, while the air above the water is less warmer. So the air above the land being less heavier, it will rise up, right? While the air, while it will be rising up, a region of low pressure was created, and the air that were present above the water body, it descended towards the land. It started traveling towards the land in order to occupy the empty space created by the rising air. So here what we have seen that the air molecules, the warm air molecules are moving from one place to another. That's how the air will be becoming warm. It's moving from one place to another. So the heat is transferred from one place to another, from here to here and from here then to here, due to transfer of the molecules. The molecules themselves are traveling from one place to another. That was the case of convection, that is seen in the case of liquids and gases. But interestingly, what we learned about radiation now, that the heat of the sun still manages to come on earth, even like there's a million of there's a distance of million of kilometer between earth and sun, and 99.99% of the distance between the earth and the sun is basically vacuum. There isn't any medium now. Is there air is there air in the space? Is there air in the space? Yes. A simple question: is there air in the space? There isn't any air in the space now. If there were to be, the people would be able to live there also. Huh? So air is not there, neither any other medium is present. So thereby the heat from the sun is managing to come to the earth via a mode of transfer of heat called as radiation. So this was such a mode of transfer of heat in which medium is not required. The waves can travel even through the vacuum. So that was the special thing about the radiation now. Hmm. We have some other examples, like why is it so that when I place my hand beneath the incandescent bulb, I feel warm? Because what we have learned, like warm air molecules or any warm particles would be rising up now. Yes, Priyanka and Abu Bakr. If something is warm, like for example, there are warm air molecules, a warm air molecule is there, a warm water molecule is. So it becomes less heavy and it rises up now. Like look
Yes,
at
sir.
this one. In this, what do you observe? That the air molecules that are above the land, it becomes warm. Upon getting heated, it becomes warm and rises up. But here, so you tell me that the yeah, over here. Hmm. So you guys tell me this thing, that if the warm air molecules are rising up, if the warm air molecules are rising up, so I should my hand should feel warm if I were to place my hand above the incandescent bulb now. But why when I am placing my hand below the bulb, then even that in that situation I am feeling warm? Getting it? What we have learned moments ago, that the warm air molecules rises up now. It rises up. So I should not be feeling any warmth when I place my hand right beneath this bulb. Getting it? So the reason why I still feel warm, it's because of radiation, because these can travel in any direction. The radiation, the waves of radiation, it can travel in any direction. As you can see over, I have marked it also, the red lines that you see. So the radiation waves can travel in any direction, as you can see over here also. Like the radiation waves coming out of this fire, it travels in all the directions. That's why you are heated. The room is heated via radiation.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, sir, for radiation, uh, we will feel warmth from the air, and then conduction from a solid object. So uh, for convection, sir, you will feel from the water.
Okay. See.
Like the difference is uh, from the solid or liquid.
Okay. Okay. See. Let me clarify it. As you said, as you mentioned some points, in that some of the points are absolutely correct. Like, but some clarification needs to be done in that. Some clarification is required. See, take the example of this the person sitting next to this fire. Okay. For example, if you have a we have a room heater in the winters in our room. So the room will be becoming warm because of radiation and of convection also. Because of radiation and convection both. Try to understand how. See, in the corner of the room, I have placed a room heater. I have placed a room heater in the corner of the room. So the heat will be coming from it. As the heat will be coming out of it, so the air molecules above the room heater, it is going to become warm. Yes or no? Just answer this much. The air molecules will become
Yes,
warm,
Yes,
right,
sir.
Priyanka? So it will rise up. It will rise up. Good. So if these air molecules are rising up, it will create some space now. Some empty space will be created here, right? So the air molecules, for example, air molecules of this part of the room, they are cooler. They are cooler. And these are the warm air molecules that are rising up. So the empty space that will be created due to the rising of the warm air molecules, it will be taken up by these air molecules. Getting it? From one side, the warm air molecules are rising up. The empty space created by the rising air molecules are being occupied by the cooler air molecules. So this is convection now, where the movement of particles, movement of air molecules are taking place to heat up the entire room. Like this cooler air molecules, as it will come close to the room heater, it will also become warm now. It will also become warm, and those will also start to, they will also start to rise up. It's a simple thing. I think it should be clear to both of you. Huh?
so sir, it is not based on solid, liquid, and gas.
No, based on like, for example, if you were to talk about like the, as you give the example, for example, if I were to touch some solid object, so if the heat travels into my body from solid objects, so their conduction is taking place. But say if I am sitting in a room, if I am sitting in a room, so in that room a room heater is placed. So how will I will feel the warmth? Will it only be because of convection, or will it only be because of radiation, or will it be because of both of them? So that's what I'm trying to prove here. That's what I'm trying to conclude here, that if you sit in a room, or in that room there happens to be a room heater, so you would be feeling warm, not just because of convection but of radiation also. So the room will be heated up because of both convection and radiation. Getting it, guys? So talking about radiation, what happens? What we have learned in the case of radiation, the heat will be traveling in all the directions in the form of waves. So notice down this thing that heat will be coming out of this in all the directions via radiation. So the room will be heated via radiation also. Are you guys getting it? So the room will be heated via both convection plus radiation. Okay. So the air that we see around us, if the air is warm, so it would be because of both convection and radiation. Okay, no? Hope you have got the clarity of the clarity in the concept. Hmm?
Current conduction.
And conduction, like whenever transfer of heat will be taking place between two solid objects or within a solid object, that will be conduction. Like for example, I touch a hot cup of tea. I touch a hot cup of tea. So the heat from this solid object will be traveling to my hand, which is also a solid object, via conduction. And if I were to place my hand right above this hot tea, so my hand will be getting heated from it via convection. But if I were to place it just beneath, over here or over here, so then in that case, my hand will be getting heated via radiation. Okay. So that is the thing.
Sir,
Mhm.
sir, when you are holding the uh, coffee, um, sir, the tea mug, that
Mhm.
time to be convection because it is the molecule that transferring from the teacup, hot teacup to your hand.
Hmm. Correct. Okay, now. So that is the thing. Okay. By the way, your schools would have reopened right now. And which chapter is going on in the school? Can you guys tell me about that? Which chapter is being done?
Sir, no chapter.
Yes,
Sir, we are not doing anything. So,
not doing anything.
yes, sir.
So like there must be going on, something must be going on in the school in the science. Some activity or some something must be going on. No. What about you, Priyanka?
Sir, like we are doing some uh, so like when the PT1 ends and then the PT2 starts. Okay, so then the PT1 exam, right? So then whatever marks you get,
Mhm.
it's like a sheet, you have to write it down.
Okay.
So you have to write it down in like many, like there is a drive, you have to write it down there, and then that is only going on.
Okay, that's going on. Okay, what about you, Priyanka? What's going on in your school? So let's start this chapter. The chapter we have started right now. It's the chapter weather, climate, and adaptation of animals to climate. Let me write down the heading of the chapter. It's weather, climate, weather, climate, adaptation and adaptation of animals to climate. That's the chapter we have started right now. Okay. So first of all, let us learn about what is weather. Hmm. So weather of a place or in general, weather can be defined as the measure of daily atmospheric pressure, daily I mean to say daily atmospheric conditions, like what is the humidity of that given area, what's the temperature of that given area, are there any lightning events, are there any rainfall, or are there any storms, is there any snowfall, and so on and on. So that is what weather is. Getting it, guys? Right now, for example, right now, let's say at my place the temperature is around, let's say, 31 degrees Celsius. uh, the chances of precipitation are less, right? For example, the there will be a wind will be blowing at a certain speed, there will be a certain amount of moisture in the air. Getting it, guys? So that will be called as weather. Or if there might be some lightning occurring, or there might be some storm. For example, at your place, let's say if the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius, huh? There are some chances of precipitation. There's a, let's say, a storm is there, huh? Wind is blowing at certain speed. Getting it? What is the direction in which the speed is blowing? Like the last time I checked at my place, the wind was blowing at somewhere around 5 kilometer per hour. At your place, the wind might be blowing at 10 kilometer per hour or at 6 kilometer per hour. Getting it? There will be a certain direction in which the wind will be blowing. It might be blowing in the northeast direction, in the northwest direction. uh, there will be some probability of rainfall, like there's a 10% chance of rainfall, there's a 40% chance of rainfall, there's a 90% chance of rainfall. Getting it, guys? These are the different atmospheric conditions, these are the different conditions, and all of them together, we all of them, like we take the measurement of all these things and together we sum it up as weather. So weather of a place can be defined as the measurement of its daily atmospheric conditions. And why we are measuring it on a daily basis? Because the temperature that is at my place today, it can vary tomorrow. Tomorrow it could be a different temperature. The third day it could be a different temperature. Today the amount of sunlight, like today could be a very sunny day, the next day it could be a cloudy day, or it could be partially cloudy. Right now, today it could be windy, the next day it could be very calm. It's today it's breezy, next day it could be rainy. So these are different atmospheric conditions. Okay, na? So while I'm asking you, let's say, okay, Abu, tell me what is the weather at your place. So you will tell me, sir, like the it's cloudy or it's partially cloudy. So and so is the temperature at my place. There was a storm at my place. Uh, the wind is blowing at so and so speed. It's blowing at 5 kilometer per hour. It's blowing in this direction. Got this? What I'm trying to say. Or when you guys look at a weather forecast report, for example, this is a 3 day weather forecast. 3 day weather forecast. Like say in a given place, this is a newspaper outlet. In this, the maximum temperature during the day that will be going is 21 degrees Celsius or 70 degree Fahrenheit. The minimum temperature during the day could be 14 degrees Celsius. There will be rain in the north and thunderstorm. Rain and thunderstorm will be observed in the north. Uh, So these are the forecast of the weather, like prediction of the weather has been done. It is important for many people because our day-to-day life activities are based on these weather conditions. Suppose, for example, I have to go to a field to play football, but the morning on that morning what happened, I saw the weather report, and in that it was shown that there could be a possible chance of rain or thunderstorm. So thereby I will postpone my plan, right now. So this can impact my day-to-day life activity. Getting it, Priyanka and Abu Bakr? Uh,
Yes.
that is the thing. So weather of a place, how do we define this? It's a how do we define this? What are the different things we talk of when we define weather? Yes. How do we define weather? It basically kind of tells you what's the status of the atmosphere. What is the state of the atmosphere? Oh, right now. So it's basically weather is basically being referred to the current atmospheric conditions of a given place. Right now, it's the current atmospheric condition of a given place. 1 minute. There seems to be some issue with the pen today. And these are the parameters upon which weather is basically calculated. While we talk about the weather of a place, we talk about rainfall, the temperature, the humidity of that place, the snowfall, or we talk about the storms and winds. Okay, just hold on for a minute. I'm trying to connect the camera and trying to. There's some error with the pen today. Just 1 minute. Now it's okay. Yeah. So all of you give the topic weather in your copies. Make sure that you have a copy with you and write down the definition of the weather. Okay. So weather, it can be defined as the current state of the atmosphere. It can be defined as the current state of the atmosphere. So why we are talking about atmosphere? Because all these things like the temperature or cloud, or the rainfall, snowfall, or the storm, all these phenomena takes place in the atmosphere only, no? not on the land now. These are taking place in the atmosphere now only, right, Priyanka? So that's why we talk about the current state of the atmosphere. So it can be defined as the current state of the atmosphere. Okay, or further, it is the measure or measurement. It's the measurement of daily atmospheric conditions of daily atmospheric conditions of daily atmospheric conditions. Further, you are going to write down such as humidity, temperature, temperature, or some lightning events if there's some lightning events there, or storms, etc., etc. Furthermore, a weather has different elements. There are different elements of the weather. Like some of the elements of weather are as follows. Elements of weather. They are as follows. Like the first one, write down rainfall. Basically, you need to understand about this thing, like what we mean when we talk about different elements of weather. After that, you will be writing it down. Okay, now. So talking about different elements of weather, basically, there would be, by the way, 6 elements of weather. But basically, in order to talk about weather of a given place, when you define the weather of a given place, there are some elements which you have to talk about. Like, say I'm asking you, Priyanka or Abu Bakar, to define the weather of your place. So you will tell me, sir, this is the temperature at my place, this is the humidity at my place, this is the atmospheric pressure, this is the speed of the wind, this is the amount of rainfall that is happening, or this is the amount of cloud present in the air. These are the things you will be talking about while defining weather of your place now, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? So that is the element of weather. So you write down rainfall, then write temperature, rainfall temperature, then write humidity, then write down snowfall. After snowfall, write down storms, and then write winds. There are some other elements also that we can consider, but usually these are the 6 elements that has to be considered. And here in this image, you basically see that these are the different types of weather. Different types of weather. Like, or so we say that it's a sunny day, it's a cloudy day, it's a partially cloudy day, it's a hot day, it's a warm day, it's a cold day, it's a windy day, like that. So these are different types of weather. Now another important thing is that will 2 days have will any 2 days have the same weather? Can it be possible like 2 days of a month can have the same weather? Like you don't have to do much, just take out the weather report, just read the weather report. So in the weather report, what you will be observing that every hour the weather conditions changes, right? Now, right, Priyanka and Abu Bakar? In the weather forecast, what we get to see that right now it might be 30 degrees Celsius temperature at my place. An hour later it might change. An hour later it might come back to the same temperature it was an hour ago. So while the temperature is changing in hourly basis, while the speed of the wind changes hourly, uh, like right now, let's say at this time the speed of the wind is 5 kilometer per hour. After 2 hours it might change. So when it can't be same in a given day, when for a given day the weather would be different, so obviously in the weather would be changing almost every day. Getting what I'm trying to say? So weather changes every day. Okay. All of you done? Both of you done writing all this? Yes, Priyanka and Abu Bakar, you guys done? Guys, am I not audible in the class?
Yes.
I am audible. So you guys done now? Okay. Moving on to the next thing. So we did learn about some basic things about the weather so far. Okay. So right now, see, like in order to monitor the weather of a given place, to predict what could be the weather of a given place during a period of 3 days or during the whole week, what could be the weather, right now? So prediction of the weather can be done by looking at some pattern, looking at the wind, overall speed of the wind, overall sunlight, overall humidity. So by looking at those conditions, weather report would be prepared. A weather report would be generally containing informations about the weather of the day. There could be a 3 day weather forecast, or there could be a weekly weather report also. Even in some cases, monthly weather reports can be prepared. So for purpose of creating a weather report, huh, in order to forecast the weather, huh, there's a department, there's a special department called as meteorological department. What is it? We have a meteorological department that whose work would be to predict the weather of a place and then prepare the weather report. And this would be published in newspapers, in televisions, in radio, and in even nowadays in the smartphones, the weather forecasts are available. So the next topic would be learning about weather report. By the way, this will be continuing in the next class. Okay, now. So that's it for today. I have got few questions for you guys. In the chapter nutrition and animals, from that I'm going to ask some questions. Now, since now see, in every class now I will keep a section where we would be discussing questions from the previous chapters that we have done. All right. So Priyanka, am I audible to you? Yes, Priyanka, am I audible to you? Priyanka, you will be defining what is alimentary canal. Okay. And Abu Bakar, you will be explaining about what happens to the food in the stomach. Once the food goes into the stomach, what happens to food? Yes. Both of you answered before the class ends.
Sir, for the cows or the
For the
for
humans,
animal
for the humans,
human.
for the humans.
Sir,
Hmm.
from the mouth, it goes to the stomach.
Okay.
Then the stomach uh, to uh, to the then it goes to the small intestine.
Only you have to explain about the stomach. What happens to the food in the stomach? And Priyanka, you also prepare to define elementary canal. Abu Bakr, you have to explain what happens to food in the stomach. Yes.
Sir,
Can
it
you?
get digested uh,
Okay.
from in the stomach acid.
Hmm. Basically, what happens now? The food will be churned. It will be broken down into very smaller pieces by the walls of the stomach. Uh, Also, the walls of the stomach would be releasing some gastric juices like hydrochloric acid, or mucus is secreted by the inner lining of the stomach, right? So, first thing is that churning of the food takes place. Churning, due to churning, it will be broken down into very small pieces. Furthermore, the inner lining of the stomach secretes some acids, which we call as hydrochloric acid, and it secretes another digestive juice that is called as mucus now, right? Hydrochloric acid will be killing all the bacteria present in the food and help it break down into smaller pieces also. Mucus will be protecting your stomach's muscles from the action of this acid. Right now, getting it, everyone. And the food will be staying in your stomach for about 6 hours, for 5 to 6 hours. It will stay in your stomach. Hmm. So once the food enters into the stomach, the muscles of the stomach will be mixing the food with acids, will be mixing the food with digestive juices right now. And then slowly the food is converted paste, into a thick paste called as chyme, right? This is something which we learned. Okay. Priyanka, Priyanka, you explain about alimentary canal. Yes, am I not audible? Yes. Priyanka, please get your network issue fixed. In every class, you are facing this network issue.
Sir, the alimentary canal is
Mhm.
the uh, sir, the esophagus, right?
No, esophagus is just the food pipe now. Just this much portion is esophagus now. This much is only esophagus. He's talking about alimentary canal. It's a digestive tract. It's a very long tube made out of different organs that will be running from the mouth all the way up to the anus.
Oh,
Huh?
sir, then it is uh, from the esophagus, then to the stomach,
From
then
the mouth, from the mouth, you should be saying. From the mouth. Okay.
from the mouth to the esophagus, then stomach,
Mm.
then small intestine, then large intestine.
Mm.
After that, uh, it would be releasing from the anus.
From the anus.